First, I'd like to compliment the Eagle and Robert Cessna and for the 24-page supplement that came out this morning. It was very well done. I sat with Crystal at sitting right behind Roby, sitting with Crystal at my table, and she brought a number of copies there to be given out and everything. It had some very funny stories from some of the other coaches and colleagues, and I'm very appreciative of the work that was put in to do a supplement of this magnitude. But it's very well done. I know y'all under 30 don't read the paper, but you should instead of reading things online. But that's another conversation for another time. But very appreciative. Did a lot of hard work on that right during the middle of everything going on with the start of baseball, softball, and basketball going, football signing day. But job well done. John Wilson, what would you like to ask?
What does it mean to you? Have you thought about it all that tomorrow is the final time you'll coach on this floor?
I've been going so fast, I hadn't been able to put thoughts down as much as preparation down to get ready for South Carolina. It would be nice if I would have had time, like when I wrote my book 4 or 5 years ago, to sit down with Rusty Burson and formulate a game plan. But whether we were playing South Carolina for the SEC championship like we did last year versus what they're trying to do to win a championship outright, I haven't earned the right this year to even think about the floor or what my words would be after the game or the thank yous before the game to my administration and Wade Roberts. I really haven't. Somewhere between 11 and 1 this morning, I'll probably try to formulate or put a couple of words together for when I can talk after the game. But the preparation for South Carolina has been our total focus. We had a great staff meeting at 11. I did the radio show at 9:30. You get prepared. Tried to read his supplement this morning. I think I've read about 80% of it. And first, you're trying to fill out, are you worthy? Are you being awarded, or your program is being awarded for what you've done? I like to say what I'm doing. And what I'm doing, I'm not coaching well enough right now. And to be able to do that, I've got to work harder to get this team not to pull an upset, but to play better to give your team a chance to be in the ball game with South Carolina, knowing what's at stake for them. Their loss to us has been written all over their locker room. Of course, Kelly Bond tells me that all year long. Remember what we lost last year, or some significant things like that. That's exactly the same thing I would do back in the time when we lost to Baylor, and that was our rival back then. Remember, don't forget, remember. And South Carolina is playing full strength. We're playing full strength. Their strength has just been better than every team in the country this year. So having a chance, I haven't had a chance. It's gone so fast. If I would keep thinking about me, I wouldn't be able to get the we into the formula. And that's the problem right now. We're trying to figure out how we can get our basketball team playing similar to Buzz's team played last night, because Buzz's team played as good of a game as they've played since Mississippi, and I enjoyed the heck out of watching it. I do make time to see the baseball, the softball games, or the men's basketball games instead of speech writing for myself, okay? Because I learn from the coaches that are in the season what they're trying to accomplish, and I'm still learning. Anybody else back there?
What do you hope the turnout's like tomorrow night, crowd-wise, Coach?
Depends on the weather. Thursday night is never a great night in the SEC. But if I'm not mistaken, anytime Texas A&M has had a chance to play a Kentucky in men's basketball, a Texas in volleyball, or whoever Joe brings in, or whoever, when North Carolina played our soccer team when they were number one a few years back, the people would respond to the challenge, and they would say, we're Aggies, we support. If I'm not mistaken again, the Chicago Cubs waited 108 years, okay? We're still waiting since '39 in football, and other teams hadn't even had a sniff or won a national championship. But when Aggies have a chance to beat a number one, this game is not going to get us into the tournament, probably not going to improve our seed at all, but it can have a lasting memory. Very similar to how RC ended his career. Okay? You remember the big games, but this big game was set up because of what South Carolina and ourselves did last year and how well we played. And this is why they made this the feature game. And we'll have a great television crew here. And we want to give the nation the best game possible and make South Carolina earn everything they can.
You've known about it for a little bit of time now, Gary, but tomorrow we will see Gary Blair court. How do you handle that?
I think they're going to do it today or tomorrow after our shoot around, or I'm not even sure the time frame of that. I just know we practice at 3 o'clock. I'm not privy to all that type of stuff. I'm trying to get some family members in from Houston and trying to get family members in from Fayetteville, where they've got ice storms up there and everything like that. The more and more I think about it, also knowing that right now there's only Pat Summitt and Kay Yao that have a court named after them. It's a we, because even at Tennessee and at NC State, they share it with their men's program and probably their volleyball programs up there. It's a great honor, a lasting honor. But for a lasting honor, I like the word doing, not what I've done. And what we have done, reading that supplement today and listening to Schaefer or Mike Neighbors or to Michelle Vopel or any of the people talk nationally about what we've done for our program. They keep saying 15 years. We've done 16 years. So I'm counting that COVID year. We were a 4 seed anyway. So heck with statistics. They used to play 154 games in baseball. They play 162 now. They don't have a 154 game record book. They've got a baseball record book. So I'm humbled very much. Now, can I live my life going forward for my family and for this university, for that court always to be honored in the most respectful way? And that's on me. And I've got to make sure those things happen during the 20 or 25 years I got left. And I want to make sure it's honored in the right way.
Okay, what's your blueprint for beating South Carolina? When you look at Missouri, the only team that beat them, they shoot good threes, they were at home. So what's your blueprint for beating South Carolina?
And Missouri's best player didn't play.
Missouri's best player didn't play? So, I mean, so
Sometimes the road is an equalizer. That's going to be my number one friend, the road and the Aggie fans that are in attendance. Getting my team to remember how well we played last year against basically the same team, the same starting lineup. I want my kids to remember, yes, we lost a few players, but we didn't lose the memory of playing South Carolina as well as we did. We're not going to win the statistical stat sheet on rebounding, but we can close the deficit. How you close the deficit is you rebound with 5 and you play MTM, make them miss instead of hope they miss defense. You need to figure out how to make. Now you're going to say, but how are you going to score? They lead the SEC and probably the country in defense. Yes, because that's why they're number one. And then when we go play Georgia on Sunday, they're number 2 or 3 in defense in our league. It's what you expect. It's the SEC. I've got to have a little bit of everything. I've got to have better free throw shooters. I got to shoot better from the 3. I realize I will not get as many layups. I've got to have mid-range game. I've got to get loose balls. I've got to have the energy points. And I've got to call out some better plays than what I've been calling out. And sometimes it's not the play, it's knowing how to play and the execution of whatever is called. And sometimes, even if everything is executed perfectly, the screen, the cut, the double screen away on the backside, you still might miss the shot. And they still might come down and score a layup on you. That's just basketball. Nobody generally shoots over 40% on South Carolina. You don't have to win a game shooting 40%, but you've got to make sure you're making all your points count. Odds are it'll be a low-scoring game. And Arkansas leads the league in scoring, even though they've only won 6 games. So sometimes I'd rather lead the league in points allowed defensively, and that's what South Carolina does. So I promise I do not have no trick play for tomorrow night. I do not have an alley-oop play. I don't have a Quentin Jackson moving from one position to the point guard position and score 31. I don't have any of those moves left in me. But what I do have is 14 ladies ready to play that are tired of excuses, and it's time for results.
Gary, will you look at all back at the game earlier this year that you played in Columbia?
And that's what your assistants are for as well. I look at us more than I look at them. And maybe I learned that a long time ago from John Wooten. And then I learned it when I was at Arkansas from Nolan Richardson. The assistants do the scouting of the opponents. I know what they can do individually. I need to know what we can do. What little tweak can I put in? Or what confidence can I give my players besides putting a plus on my hand and I just went to the bank and changed out my 4 $2 bills, okay? Oh, I got that 100 in there, but there's my 4 $2 bills that I changed out, all 4 of them, for this ball game, because we've lost a few in a row.
Hundreds for the officials?
No, the hundreds is, when it's all over, I'll take you to a better restaurant and buy you lunch for that supplement that you did. It was very good.
Can't take payback, sorry. Thanks for the offer.
That's right. I won't take you, but you can take me.
There you go. That's
You
all
can
paper.
take me. I like that. These gentlemen right here are shooting this for the SEC, and that's going to be, I think, next Monday night, if I'm not mistaken. It'll be on sometime Monday night leading up to the tournament. They've done Tennessee and Mississippi, and I know Florida's men, and I'm not sure who all else they've done. They've been with us for a week. They're on per diem, and they found all our good places to eat, and they're doing a great job. Anything else about the game?
How do you handle your emotions tomorrow night?
Who knows? I mean, I cry in movies, so, but whatever the emotions are, when the ball is tossed up, I'll be Gary Blair, coaching to the last whistle or the last call that is made. That's all I can do.
We good?
Got enough?
I would ask about Mark Edwards almost. I almost forgot what he
Yes.
meant to you and what he meant to the program.
Aggies ball. Gosh almighty. God, he loved this place. And he loved, it wasn't rooting for, he wasn't a PA announcer for football or men's basketball. He was for the women's sports. He did his work over, correct me if I'm wrong, at KAMU. He was always a behind-the-scenes person. And there's one thing that I was not able to give him. I always promised him that we would play around the golf together. And I knew how much the cancer had gotten to him, but I also knew, and I'd told him before, that, hey, I'm retiring. I'll have a lot of days that we'll be able to play golf. So I guess we'll have to scorecard it against each other. I'm going to give him 77, and I'm going to have to beat that scorecard. Okay? Might not be able to play a tradition, just might have to play the easier course. But he meant a lot because he cared. And so many of the little people around here that do not get the headlines or the platform that I or Buzz or Joe or somebody has, they're the ones you truly miss. And Mark Edwards gave his life to A&M in calling Aggies ball. He was pretty special. And now I hope that I think both of his kids are still in college. We need to get them through. People need to step to the plate and help out his family in any way they can.